welcome back, my enlightened family. Welcome back to my home. Welcome back. I am Kat for Wins, in case you're new here. How is everybody tonight? Welcome, everybody. So we have a crazy class tonight. I know I always say that, but first of all, I do want to wish Shane a happy birthday. Today is officially Shane's birthday, and he's turned years old. And so happy birthday, Shane! Happy birthday, Shinanu. Welcome Vincent and Adam, and welcome Julie, and anybody else who stumbles along the channel later on. You're just as valuable here, and thank you for coming and joining us tonight. So we're going to be talking about some monsters, yes, tonight. What are they called? I don't know, Gorgons? I think that's what they're called. So we will be talking about Medusa, so that will be fun there. And we have a few more crazy stories to tell you and how Athena actually came to be, and she wasn't born the normal way. So anyway, so we have a bunch of crazy stuff that I'm going to be sharing here with you tonight. So it's not going to be a super long class. I just want to just make that a point. I don't have anything planned at the end of the class itself. I've been a little crazy here. So anyway, just to let you know, the future classes. So next week's class is going to be on soul regression. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a meditation. I will be walking you through it, and I will be asking you certain questions that I need you to get the answers to. So if you have a recorder, play it, because if I ask you a question, just say the answer out loud, so that way later on I can assess what your answers are and kind of give you a little bit more insight in your past life regressions as well. I will also, you will be actually be able to see what you look like. I will be walking you in front of a mirror. So it's a really cool meditation that I have created. I actually walked Sarah through it one time, and she went back to the Victorian days. She actually met her children and her husband, and there was a big to do going on. And I actually, when I pulled her out of the meditation, she was crying because she felt that pain of leaving her family behind. So it can be a little emotional, but that's the whole point of it, is that you want to bring up stuff that is buried in your subconscious and your psyche, and we want to bring that forward so then it can be healed in the Hara chakra. Remember that Hara chakra? So anyway, so how is everybody tonight? I'm going to jump back over to comments. So I'm so happy to have you guys here with me tonight. This is going to be a fun class. So anyway, what is tonight about? As I said, let me jump back way to the top here. Athena, there she is, beautiful maiden. Okay, so Athena is another child of Zeus. Yes. Like I said, he's a fickle little fellow, but she was not born by um, the beast with two backs. She was not brought into that world this way. So here she is. This is our Athena, goddess of wisdom. This is our beautiful Athena. Here she is. Okay, so I'm just going to just delve right into this if everybody's cool with that. Athena, also spelled Athene, in Greek religion, the city, she was known as the protectress, yes, goddess of war, handicraft, and practical reasoning, identified by the Romans as Minerva. I do have a picture of Minerva here. Give me a second. Here she is. So, symbols of Minerva are the owl, representing her wisdom, the dove, representing victory, intertwined snakes, a golden shield, a helmet, and an olive branch. So, Minerva, and remember, this is where I always say, don't get caught up in the names, because they have so many. Some of these Greek beings are going to be pulled over into when we doing the Egyptian stuff. Yes, they're reincarnations of lifetimes and lifetimes. They develop just like we do. That's why we keep coming back until they get to godlike status, and then they don't have to come back, and then they play with us. So that's pretty cool. So Athena, whoops, where did it go? Show it. There she is. Okay, so this is the Zeus's daughter. She was essentially urban and civilized, the associated with the respects of Artemis. Okay, I do have Artemis here. Where is she? She's down here somewhere. There she is. So Artemis, you were Artemis. Some people like to devote their energy to their romantic relationships. You like to devote yours towards being productive, like the god of the hunt. Remember, Artemis, another daughter of Zeus, Lord of the hunt. She's actually the sign for Cancer. In case you want to know what Greek god goes with Cancer sign in zodiac, this is her. You don't have to time to travel. Excuse me. Sorry, you don't have time for trivial, and you put your energy towards getting the things you need most in life. So Artemis, she's the archer. Apollo is her twin brother, if we remembered, if we go back and remembered that. Goddess of the outdoors, Athena was probably pre-Hellenic goddess and was later taken on by the Greeks. So the Hellenics predate the Greeks, I guess. Uh, So I'm trying to pull up here a couple more for you. Here's Athena here. Here she is. You are a warrior. You are guided by wisdom and courage. Don't hesitate to act. Your mind is clear and your heart is brave. Goddess Athena. I actually have a spiritual owl. My friends in here, Julie knows this. She's heard me talk about Athena. Yes, that's the name of my owl. And she doesn't sit on my shoulder or anything, but I call her in to bring back soul retrieval pieces from clients when I'm doing Reiki. I can actually retrieve them myself, but I like to play with my owl. And my owl will actually come and put the pieces that are missing in my hand. It's so crazy how it works. And again, that's that imagination. That's what creates your third eye. If you believe it, you manifest it and you create it. And that is how it works. And I integrate the pieces back into the hara part because you don't want to just dump it back into the body, because if you dump it back into the body and it's not healed, it's not helping the process. It broke away because it needed healing. So you bring it back and it still needs healing. So that's that shadow work that I keep yelling at you guys about. So Athena, here she is again. The goddess of wisdom, warfare, reason, courage in the arts, invented the bridle, yes, for horses, the trumpet, the flute, the rake, the plow, the yoke, the ship, the chariot, and also not on here is the bass or the vase. She created the vase. Her symbols are the olive tree and the owl. Athena's weapons are the spear in her shield, Aegis, which Zeus also uses. I'll be explaining what that is. She is the patron goddess of Athens. This is my beautiful Athena. Hide. All right. Yet to the Greek economy was largely military. Go away. So that Athena, while retaining her earlier domestic functions, became a goddess of war. She was a daughter of Zeus. Oh, I got that handsome little fellow in here. There he is. She was the daughter of Zeus, produced without a mother. Here we go, guys. Here comes the crazy stories. So that she emerged fully grown, okay, from the forehead of Zeus. Okay, so there's a few myths in why this happened, and I'll be explaining them to you in a moment. There was an alternative story that Zeus swallowed Metis, the goddess of counsel, while she was pregnant with Athena. So that Athena finally emerged from Zeus fully grown over many years, I guess. Um, Here she is again. So the Athena finally emerged from Zeus, being the favorite child of Zeus. She had great power. Zeus loved her. Zeus took very good care of her. So, and I showed that one to you already. I have some more. Okay, lots more. I really, you can put up to like 40 banners in here now. So it's really crazy to try to find them all when you start going through the class. So anyway, okay. So, let's see here. Athena is associated with the Acropolises cities, or various Greek cities, probably stemmed from the location of the king's palaces there. She was thought to have neither consorts, no boyfriends, and no offspring. She was not interested in a procreation. She was not interested in sex at all. She was about wisdom in war. She was wise beyond her years. Took me 55 years to figure that one out. I'm good. So let me do my meditations and all right. She may not even have been described as the virgin originally, but virginity was attributed to her very early and was the basis for the interpretation of her epaulets. That's her different names. Pallas, Pallas, and Parthenos are, again, don't get caught up in the names. As a war of goddess, Athena could not be dominated by other goddesses such as Aphrodite. That pissed Aphrodite off. And as a palace goddess, she could not be violated. But we're going to be talking about a violation tonight, a rape, yes. And this is how Medusa became Snakehead. So we're going to be learning about that in a moment. Athena, as a war goddess, inspires and fights alongside the Greek heroes. Her aid in Simonus with military prowess. Zeus, the chief god, here he is again. Specifically assigned the sphere of wars to Ares. Now, if you remember Ares, he's also a god of war. I told you about him. He is very violent. He's about the carnage and the violence in the blood and the gore. He just was ripping through people and didn't care. So this is Ares. This is his son. He's actually one of Zeus's least favorite children. Just for that reason, because he's just so violent. Athena is violent when she needs to be, but there's more of a softer side to that. She's not about the carnage and the killing. She has the wisdom that comes in behind it, not just that fierceness of killing and doing away with people. So, fun facts: Athena created the flute. As I said, she created it to imitate sounds when Medusa died, and I will explain that to you in a moment. Athena created other things such as poetry and vases, as I said. Here's her flute. Um, so this is actually the flute. It almost looks like she's playing it out her nose. So anyway, no offense, Athena. Okay, don't want to piss off the goddess. So anyway, so here's basically the type of flute that she did invent. And the funny thing is they said that she actually didn't play it, so she just invented it. So that's kind of crazy there. Just jumping over to chat, make sure I'm not missing anybody. All right, the god of war in Athena. Okay, so Ares is the son of Zeus. Athena's moral and military superiority to Ares derives in part from the fact that she represents intellectual and civilized side of the war. When, like I said, Ares is all about ripping apart and carnage, and the virtues of justice and skill, whereas Ares represented mere blood, lust, and carnage. Her superiority also derives in part from the vastly greater variety and importance of her functions and from the patriotisms of Homer's Iliad. Iliad are poems. Again, Homer is that poem. He's an author that writes about the Greeks and studies about the Greeks. So he wrote what's called the Iliad, presumed author, and also of the Odyssey. He also wrote the Odyssey. Predecessors, Ares begins being of foreign origin. In the mind of Iliad, Athena is the divine form of the heroic goddess. I have her here again. So this is, I'm going to learn about that one. I don't want to share that one just yet. Okay, so I'm just going to put this one back up here. So Athena, divine form of heroic marital ideal. She personifies excellence in close combat, victory, and glory. The qualities that lead to victory are found on the Aegis, the Aegis, and I do have that, the Aegis. Got to find it. Give me 1 second. So this is the Aegis. So an Aegis can either be a form of a fur that she's wearing. It can also be a shield, and her shield always has Medusa's head on it, that's who we're talking about tonight. It's a form of her power. It's just something that she really values. So an aegis is an animal skin or a shield. It can also be a breastplate as well. So this is another one of Athena's shields here. But if you notice, all her shields have who on them? Yes, Medusa is on every single one of her shields. That Athena wears when she goes to war: fear, strife, defense, and assault. Athena appears in Homer's Odyssey as the deity of Odysseus, and myths from later sources portrayed her similarly as helper of Perseus, which we'll be discussing tonight. He's the one that actually takes the head off Medusa, and Hercules. She actually gave the lion's fur to Hercules. As the guardian of the welfare of kings, Athena became the goddess of good counsel and prudent restraint and practical insight, as well as of war. Okay, so this is Athena's temple. She had a few temples actually. This is the one that we're going to talk about tonight because this is where Medusa lost her virginity. She was raped. Yes, she was raped, and we're going to talk about that in a second. In post Mycenaean times, the city, especially its citadel, replaced the palace of Athena's domain. She was widely worshipped, but in modern times, she is associated primarily with Athens. Athens is named after Athena. Makes sense? Okay, to which she gave her name. Her emergence there as a city goddess, Athena Polias, or Athena, guardian of the city, which is what that Polias means, excuse me, accompanied the ancient city state's transition from monarchy to democracy. She was associated with birds, particularly the owl. We're going to talk about the coin here in a second. And I'm going to go back up to and see, don't this one? Yeah, so you can see her owl there in her hand, which becomes famous as the city's owl symbol, and with the snakes. Snakes, just like Hecate, is also another symbolism of her. Her birth and her in her contest with Poseidon. Now we're going to learn about Poseidon. The story is going to get a little twisted here, guys. So, Mr. Poseidon, where you hiding? I rhymed and didn't even plan that. Mr. Poseidon, where you hiding? So Zeus is up there. Okay, sorry. I just swapped all my banners around. I always do this, try to get it to go with the flow, but here he is. There he is. Sexy man, Poseidon. The sea god of wow, Sue, give me a minute. Certainty, that means rights of counsel and policy, were depicted on the pediments of the Pantheon and the great festival of the Pantheonia. In July was a celebration of Athena's birthday. She was also worshipped in many other cities, notably Sparta. Athena became the goddess of crafts, skilled peacetime pursuits in general. She was particularly known as the patroness of spinning and weaving, that she ultimately became allegorized, boy, these words, to share in the wisdom and righteousness that was natural development of her patriotic skills. So that's quite interesting there. This is another temple today, what Athena's temple actually looks like, and goes to show you over time what happens. So I'm going to take you now to the Athena temple. He did this in the sacred place of Athena. She was furious about this, raged in anger. She cursed Medusa for eternity and sent her off to be abandoned in a cave. Okay, so now we're learning and moving into this story. So here we go. All right, Athena was customarily portrayed wearing body armor. So let me put her body armor back up. Okay, so here's her body armor and helmet and carrying a shield and lance, as you see in this photo. Athena was the goddess of wisdom and once was a beautiful and kind woman who was betrayed by her attendant. And let me pull her up for you, Medusa, back to the bottom. All right, so this is kind of interesting here. So yeah, that's her head. Ironically, when they cut off Athena's head, I'm going to tell you what happened there. So that's quite an interesting little story there. So let's jump over to Medusa right here. Nope, I can't do that one yet. Sorry. Wrong. Okay, okay. There was. This is one I want. Okay, so this is Poseidon, and this is Medusa here. Medusa, in a lit of rage and fury, Athena cursed Medusa to be a monster with snakes for hair, and anyone who looked upon her face would be turned instantly to stone. The story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences and betrayal and revenge and the power of justice. Now, remember we talked about the Vestal virgins? Well, Medusa was kind of like a Vestal virgin, but she wasn't a Vestal virgin, but she swore celibacy. She swore that she would stay pure, and she was attendant to Athena and her temple here. So, and Poseidon came in, and he kind of had his way with her and disgraced the temple there. You would think that Athena would go after Poseidon, but remember, Poseidon is her uncle. That's Zeus's brother. So anyway, so out of a fit of rage, also too, you're gonna hear couple more reasons why she may have done this to Medusa as well. Well, the story of Athena's curse of Medusa is a tragic one, is one that can teach us a valuable lesson about how our actions can have lasting consequences. It is Athena's curse serpent her with hair and turned her men to stone. But the most famous of the Gorgons is Medusa. I'll show you the Gorgons here. There are three of them. Medusa is the one in the middle. The other two are, I'm going to mispronounce their name, but Stetino is one of her sisters, and the other one is Eule. Oh my God. Eyal, Euryal. You can pronounce it how you want. So that was her sister's there, so she's turns to men to stone. You're stoned. Athena's cursed serpent with hair and turned men to stone, but the most famous of the Gorgons is Medusa. Her hair was snakes and it looked that turned the men to stone. Some modern readings interpret Athena's transformation of Medusa as a blessing in disguise rather than a curse. Some readers interpret it as a reflection of Athena and Zeus, complication relationship. Medusa is the youngest of the Gorgons. Here they are, his her sisters. So she's the youngest of the other two. Probably why they're more ugly. The children, they are children of Phorcys and Ceto. Ceto is the goddess of the sea, and she is the daughter of Phorcys, excuse me, Phorcys. And Athena cursed them to become monsters after they were lovely and human. Uh, excuse me. Wow. Athena cursed them to become monsters after they were lovely humanoid creatures. This is possibly a feminist icon in the modern world because of the role of Medusa. Her story had been told in a variety of ways by various companies and movements. Despite the fact that she was a victim of her own rape, um, feminists still hold her account in high regard today. She is frequently depicted as a symbol of female rage, and I do have that as well. I'm going to put this up first. Facts about Medusa: she was turned into a Gorgon by Athena before she got turned into a Gorgon. She was a beautiful woman with long hair and smooth skin. She got turned into a Gorgon because Medusa and Poseidon went on a date at Athena's palace. That's a nice way of putting it. Athena cursed Medusa, and now she is a Gorgon. Some of Medusa's, excuse me, some of Athena's symbols, which I just want to bounce back to, are owls, of course. They represent wisdom and alertness, symbolizing Athena's insight and critical thinking. The aegis, this refers to Athena's shield, symbolizing her power, protection, and strength. The olive trees, the olive branches, symbolizes peace. Armor, Athena is the goddess of war and represents strategy in battle. In the Gorgonian, a special amulet showing the Gorgon head. Excuse me, head. Wow, what happened there? Voice is changing. So what you see on her shield here. Okay, so she is frequently depicted as a symbol of female rage against the injustices going on in the world. So let's go over to here. Medusa is more than just a monster. Medusa's story in Greek mythology is tragic and multifaceted. Once a beautiful maiden, Medusa was cursed by Athena, goddess of wisdom, of being raped by Poseidon, turned into a monster with snakes for hair and a stare that would turn anyone to stone. Medusa was ultimately captured and beheaded by Perseus. We will be talking about a bit about Perseus tonight as well. Today, Medusa's story is often taken as a symbol of silencing powerful women, rape culture, and how society tends to blame the victims of the rape instead of the rapist. The concept of the feminine fatale of dangerous yet attractive women. So by turning her ugly, she solved her man problem. She is again. All right. So, society feminist. The world is bleaker as a result of the fact that Medusa avoids meeting the eyes of people. The perspective of wrongfully blamed victims shifted from immoral to unjust, demonstrating how we view women's society and power in more general sense. There were flaws in every god, from Athena to Zeus, that fickle little fellow. So here we are. Medusa was raped by Poseidon, after which goddess Athena blessed Medusa. Did she bless her or did she curse her? That is the question here. She blessed Medusa with the head full of snakes, and the gaze turns men to stone to protect herself from the brutality of men. So she represents the symbolization of power of the feminine. Yes. Athena was jealous of Medusa's lustrous hair and stunning beauty, Poseidon having devoured her, taken her chastity away and purity that she had so painstakingly preserved for Athena. Enraged by this act, cursed Medusa, again, curse or a blessing, transformed her lovely hair into venomous snakes, turning her beautiful face into a hideous sight that any man would gaze upon and would turn to instant stone. So, there is a coin. This is called the little owls. They call this coin the little owls. This is money that Athena, the AOE or whatever that is on the side, that represents Athena. Of course, you have the olive branch there if you look, as well as the owl. And I don't know what that thing is up in the corner. I believe, hmm, I'm not sure. That could be a craft, because ships, that could represent part of a ship. I don't know, because she did bring in the trades and stuff too to help bring more culture in. So Athena and blessings. To honor her, you can burn patchouli or dragon's blood incense, burn golden candle, yellow or orange. Bless me, great Athena, with your awakening. Bless me with your vision. Bless my throat with truth. Bless my heart with your understanding. Bless my body with your strength. Bless my journey with your guidance. And bless my work with your inspiration. I'm going to jump over to chat because I've been really, really so rude. So, pretty crazy story, right, guys? It's kind of nuts. So, Athena, rather than punishing her with the snake's head, was protecting her. Is this it? Athena gave Medusa the ability to defend herself against the daughters of men. But in actuality, by turning her to Medusa, what happened was it resulted in her death, because Perseus, I have Perseus here. Here he is. Perseus came along, and this is a crazy story, and I'm going off paper here. So, um, Perseus, his mother, there's a king that was forcing his mother to marry, and he couldn't stop this action from happening. So he actually went to Athena, and Athena helped him. She gave him a shield, a very, very shiny shield, and she told him to use the reflection of the shield. So instead of looking at Medusa head on, which would turn him instantly to stone, he used his shield to look at her while she was sleeping, I guess, in her cave. And that's when he came in and severed her head. Now, the funny thing is, and this is what's really crazy, is when she severed her head, this was born. Yes, the Pegasus. As he carried her head across the ground, wherever the blood fell on the ground, when that droplet of blood hit the ground, it created the Pegasus. Pegasus is one of the best known mythological creatures in Greek mythology. He is a winged divine stallion, usually depicted as pure white in color. It was born from Medusa when her head was cut off by Perseus. For his service of loyalty that the Pegasus gave to Perseus after this for his service. Zeus honored him with a special immortality, turning the Pegasus when he died into a constellation in the sky. Yes, on the last day of his life, he's actually Pegasus. There's a constellation Pegasus. So that's quite interesting there. We're going to talk about Pegasus again. Is known to be the son of Medusa and Poseidon. I don't know why they're saying Poseidon here, but I think it's because it all led up to this. He was born from the blood of Medusa's severed head when Perseus killed her. So Perseus took this head without looking at it, because if he looked at it, the head can still turn you to stone even after she's dead. It still had that lovely power. Here it is. So her head could still actually turn you to stone after you sever the head off of her. So he actually was bringing it back, and his thought was he was going to present the king that is forcing his mother to marry him and instantly turn to stone. And he did do this. He did manage to save his mother, and he did turn the king into stone. So that was a wonderful thing. Here it is. Bye bye. See you later. All right, so Athena's symbols in ancient art, gods, and heroes were often identified through specific symbols. I'm just going to go over a few more because I think there's a couple that were not mentioned in here. Some were obvious, like the lion skin worn by Hercules, while others were more subtle and less often used. Just want to make sure I nailed everything through here. Oh, this is interesting too. She didn't have, Athena never had children. As I said, she wasn't interested in procreation. She wasn't interested in sex. She wanted more and knowledge. So, King, here we go, Erythronius was a legendary early ruler in ancient Athens. According to some myths, he was, oh, Autochthonius? Thonius, no, excuse me. Autochthonus. There we go. Which means he was born of soil and earth. Again, he was not made with the beast with two backs and adopted or raised by the goddess Athena. So she actually raised him as one of a child that she would have honored. So here's Athena here. Many of these symbols are known as to archaeologists and students of history. Others were so iconic they are still used today to denote the same ideas to ancient gods stood for. Some of the most enduring and visible symbols of the ancient Greek religion were associated with Athena throughout Greece, especially in Athens. Widespread and very distinctive. Athena is still associated with owls, as I said, but she had many other distinctive symbols as well. The reason why she was associated with the owl is because the owl can turn its head 160 degrees. Okay, not all the way, or his head will unscrew and fall off. Okay, so his head can turn 160 degrees. He would sit on her shoulder during war, and he would actually see behind her and see to the sides where she was focusing to the front. So it was her extra eyes. So that's why she is associated with the owl. In Greek art, the goddess Athena had many recognizable symbols and attributes. Athena was the patron goddess of the city Athens. As I said, it was named after her. Was overall one of the most popular goddesses throughout the Greek world. This meant she was shown often in art and with some regional variations. In Athens, for example, she was often pictured with an olive tree or olive branches. Um, I shared this one. This one's pretty. Um, this was in reference to the city's founding myth, in which Athena gave the tree to the city to ensure its future prosperity. So, giving an olive tree or an olive branch is not just means peace, but it also means prosperity. So, that's kind of interesting to know there. One of the Athena's common name or epaulets was Glaucopus. Wow, these words just kill me. Glaucopus, or which means bright-eyed, which shares a root with the Greek word for owl. The birds were associated with Athena early on and often shown in archaic images of her. The people of Athens eventually adopted the owl as the emblem of the city, as I said. Um, they made Athenian coins, which were called little owls because they typically had the goddess animal on them. Less well remembered was the goddess associated with snakes. Athena was often pictured with snakes along the edges of her clothing. You can actually see it on her shield here. You can see the snakes going around the shield there. All her shields, like I said, they had Medusa on them. One of the other things I did not show you, so they believe that if you go to war, you should have this symbol with you. Just trying to find it, guys. Give me a second. So again, this is the aegis. You can see it here while I look for the other one. Um, Up here it is. So this is called the Palladium statue. This is a statue of safety, and you can see it says Palladium at the bottom there. This Greek statue, if you have it or something that represents this statue with you, as well as like the shield. She was actually, Athena was born with that helmet on her head when she came out of Zeus. So that's quite interesting to know there. So that is a statuette that they would carry with them, or some form of picture of it, whether it was engraved on a shield or whatever, that would actually protect them during times of war. This is Athena to the left. This is Zeus to the right. This is some art here. I wanted to give you a little art. Again, this is Perseus is to the left there with his little winky doodle hanging out there. You can see the shield, the reflection of Medusa's head in the shield there. That is how he actually killed her. And that is Athena holding her head. He actually gave the head, when he was done killing the king with it, gave it over to Athena to keep. So here's Medusa here again. Here she is, what a beautiful thing she is. All right, Medusa, the lesson we learned is that beauty can either be a gift or a curse, depending on how a beautiful woman behaves. Her beauty certainly got Medusa into trouble. The second lesson is Medusa had more power as an ugly creature than she did as a woman. This is how she became known as the guardian, especially for virgins. The curse of being able to turn men into stone proved to be a warning to them all who would force their unwanted attentions on a woman. So she would actually was still continuing to protect the virgins, and still on her quest. And as I said, she was killed. Many men. Good evening, Chris. Great to have you join us, my friend. So that's quite interesting to learn about that. And so that basically is the class in a nutshell, guys. Like I said, next week is going to be past life regression. This is going to be a really crazy class. It's going to give you a lot of insight on yourselves, which is just past life. It's going to pull you into a past life that needs your attention, that needs healing. So what I'm going to do is going to be certain things in the meditations as I'm walking you through. Like for instance, you're going to take a seat. Something just flew up here. Take a seat, and I'm going to ask you what's the number on the seat. And so don't think of any numbers. I want this to be instantaneous because that is how it works. Okay. That will be, and I'll be walking you to a train station. You're going to get on a train, and I'm going to take you on a journey. So it's going to be a really cool class. Like I said, I got really great results doing this with Sarah on her past life journeying. She actually, like I said, she met her husband and her two beautiful daughters. One of them was sitting on the bed brushing the hair, and the other one was playing with a China doll. So anyway, but like I said, when I did pull her out of it, it can be very emotional. But that's good because that emotion, if you cry afterwards, that emotion that comes to the surface, that's what's crying to be healed. So that's a great thing. When you cry, you release endorphins in your brain, and it makes you feel better. It's a healing process. So it all gets taken down this lovely journey that we're going to be taking you on next week. So the September 7th that's gonna be a fun class. We're gonna be doing, making luminaries, out of leaves, colored leaves from outside, so I'm hoping they turn in time. If they don't, I can push the class and swap it with another class, out of mason jars and just to decorate your home and just to bring a little color inside, and to, kinda welcome the fall in before we actually get to our Mabon class, which is the equinox of September that is coming to be. Um, so, and let's see here. I will be going over angel numbers with you on the past regression class next week too. So if you have any angel numbers that are kind of sticking in your face, just kind of make a note of it, and I can tell you what the numbers are and what their meanings are. I have Doreen Virtue's book. She's amazing. And the information in there is pretty precise from what I get from being told by them, the angels. Let's see here. September 14th. I will not be having a class. I'm losing some wisdom. um, they're removing my two bottom wisdom teeth, so all gone. So anyway, so I will be having oral surgery for that, and I have to be put to sleep. So it's one thing to pull the teeth, and I can do the class, but I'm going to be groggy afterwards. So that's the end of that. So anyway, so happy birthday, Shane. We love you, and Julie. I love you. I hope to see you next week. I look forward to you coming over. I'm so excited. She's got goodies for me. I always get goodies. Um, so anyway, so I'm very excited about that. Chris, oh look, thank you for coming and joining us. I'm so happy to have you. And Adam, thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. Good luck. So Adam and Vincent, again, thank you for joining me tonight. And anybody else, you're just as special and you're just as wanted. And thank you all. And thanks for being here. And remember one more thing, guys. Keep shining your light, man. Shine, shine, shine. Love y'all. Bye. See you later.